about the announcement last night that he will enter the 2024 Blues Hall of Fame class. What did you think of Hofer? Because we have not talked about...
Yeah, unfortunate event for him last night because he didn't play poorly. He made some really good saves early on, some post-to-post, and killed a lot of plays, handled the puck really well. But he didn't have a chance on some of those plays. And the volume of shots that were coming towards him at the end, just weren't there. They were just a lot to handle. Do I think he could have played a little better? Well, yeah, but, there's certain ones he probably could have had. But you watch the Coyotes, they had good net front presence, and they were getting the grade A opportunities right in tight. Like when you go pass from one board to the other board on a power play, they got one times it into the net.
Yeah, right.
What the hell is a goalie supposed to do there?
Right.
I think his start last night made me appreciate similar to what we saw last. That score could have been way worse, in my opinion. It could have been like 4-0 in the first period if he doesn't make some of those saves. So, I think obviously there's a lot there to unpack, and I'm sure he's going to go back and see what he did wrong and what he did well, right? But I think he has a bright future moving forward, and I don't think he's going to be giving up 6 goals every single night.
It's one of those things where, a lot of times we rally against the people that are kind of crushing Jordan Binnington because of his save percentage or because of his goals against. I mean, that's one of those games last night. You just got to kind of watch it and see how the goals were scored, not necessarily,
that power play goals too.
Exactly, yeah.
We're going to get into that too.
We certainly will. Special teams, we're going to break down the special teams soon. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. We will talk to Keith Tkachuk coming up about him joining the 2024 Blues Hall of Fame class. Keith Tkachuk next on 101 ESPN. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter.
Oh, Anthony, I love you.
Just did something that Jamie just appreciate.
100%.
And I did it because I knew you'd appreciate it. Let's head to our 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. We're joined by the one and only Keith Tkachuk, better known as Big Wall for Blues Hall of Fame class was announced. Pavel Demitra, Mike Liut, and of course Keith Tkachuk. Keith, we got Jamie here. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on such an incredible honor.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I apologize. A little bit sleepy today, so. But it was a great. I wish I could have been in St. Louis last night, doing the building, but it's an honor, obviously, especially with Mike, and obviously going in with Pav as well as one of my closest buddies to play. And unfortunately, he won't be able to be here, but hopefully his family will be here. But super, super nice for our family. We're so blessed.
Well, yeah, obviously, a few things to unpack with this one. But first of all, let's just focus on you and you being nominated to the Blues Hall of Fame. Like, what does that mean to you, truly? Because you know some of the older guys, the franchise, and I know how hard you played for this franchise and still living in St. Louis. And what does it mean for you to be into the second class?
Well, you know what? It's incredible. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, when I first got traded here, I didn't know a lot about St. Louis, and it was well over 20 years ago. And it's been the best move of our lives for our family. It's a special place. I mean, you can see Jamie being a former player living here now, too, and all the other former players still living here, and it's just a beautiful place to play. And I was very lucky to play with some great people and played under some great coaches and some great managers, and obviously the fans. I mean, like I said, I didn't know a lot about this place, but anytime you get inducted into a Hall of Fame like the St. Louis Blues, you tickle pink. You really are. And it's just so very fortunate that I was able to get traded here and to see what it's like to live in such a great place and to play with such great fans.
And then part two of this is to go in at the same time as our good buddy Pav. I mean, I played with Pav. I loved him as a teammate, as a friend. You guys had a special relationship on and off the ice. What does it mean to go in at the exact same time as your buddy?
Well, it means everything. I wouldn't have the success that I've had if I hadn't played with Pavel, for sure. I mean, he was such an incredible player, very underrated player. In fact, I got traded for two of his buddies. Funny story that, I don't think he was too happy about, two Slovaks for not getting Anzu. So got off to a shaky start. We got to know each other. We got to love playing with each other. We got to love to hang out with each other. And we became great friends. And, I was very fortunate. He did a lot of the legwork and a lot of the unselfish play of passing the puck. And all he used to tell me was just go to the net and I'll get you the puck. And by God, he did it.
Keith Tkachuk joins us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Big Will, when we talked about this to lead off the show, I asked Jamie what it meant to look at you and Pavel and Mike Liut and say, hey, when you think of these three players, what do you think? If I could ask you, what is it when you think of a Blues player, right? What it means to be a Blue and to be a part of this franchise? What does that mean for you?
Well, it means everything. I mean, it means, I'm hoping, it's the way we interacted with the fans, the people around, not just in the locker room, but the people away from the rink. I think that's just as important as what you do on the ice and how you carry yourself and how you, be involved in the community. And I think that means a lot. And there's so many great players that have come through St. Louis Blues, and that's why it makes it so special. Guys that paved the way for myself and Pav, and Mike being one of them. And I remember when Mike came back, he's, obviously a fan favorite in a different era, and a tremendous person. And I think we all have, committed to that off ice where we were engraved into the community and did what we should have done as role models.
Keith, did you hear from either Bora last night? Did your sons reach out to you at some point?
No, that's the ones who I got to give Mike Caruso a lot of credit. Mike got the boys to tell me a while back while they were home before they went to camp, and it was pretty special to hear from the boys. And I didn't hear from the last. I talked to Brady actually, but I'm traveling, so I've been out of the loop watching some hockey. And but I got to give a lot of credit to Mike Caruso and his staff and the people that work in the St. Louis Blues. They always treat me so well, and guys like Mike are another reason why I've lived in St. Louis so long, and it's been so incredible to me.
Keith, look, we know that the boys are proud of you and that that you were inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. But if we switch it over a little bit to your boys, and if you just open and honest with me here a little bit, because I know you give some of the polished answers sometimes, and I don't blame you, okay? But my Keith Tkachuk, he's not very polished. I'll tell you that. No, but how proud are you, for real, of your boys? Like, when you look at their success right now, like there's got to be a huge part of you that just it's got to feel somewhat surreal at times.
No, I mean, I'm 100% very proud of them, no matter what they did. But they're accomplishing more than I thought they would right now, 100%. I mean, you don't realize. I mean, last year itself, being in the All-Star game and playing together and having success on the ice, and it's been great. I mean, I'm pumped for them, but I'm also laughing because I'm not known as Keith Tkachuk anymore, the hockey player. I'm known as Matthew and Brady Tkachuk's dad. That is great. So damn right, I'm pumped.
That's awesome. Also, Keith, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up your incredible wife, Chantal. I know that she's been along for the ride for a very, very long time. And, what does it mean for you as an individual to have somebody who has been so dedicated to you and then to your boys when in the early going it was tough? You were still playing. You weren't always around and all the travel. And still you travel a lot. It's got to be pretty special to have a backbone like
involved in sports and different aspects. So yeah, I mean, when you're traveling, you're focused on your job. When you're home, you're a dad. But when you're away, luckily we had some good support system. Days, when you have a tournament, you have kids on two different teams. And Chantal's been amazing, dealing with my crap all these years and taking care of the kids. She didn't have 3 kids; she had 4, me included. So that was probably the worst of them all to try to keep under control.
Keith, going back to the draft, Dalibor Dvorsky in those meetings, what could
the house you built right there, the organization, not the Hunters or some of the other great players that played there, but no, you're a young kid playing over in Sweden, playing on a crappy team and getting limited minutes. It's difficult to develop. So he's in a good situation. Sudbury has a good team. He'll be able to play with good players and play a lot, but he's a big horse. He plays down the middle. He plays 200 feet. He can score goals. He just has to get him in a Blues uniform.
Well, I can't either, buddy, and I can't wait, and I know we'll have a lot of laughs, but...
Oh, I appreciate it, Rivs. Thanks for having my back all these years. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Take care.
You too. That's Keith Tkachuk, the late, great Pavel Demitra.
Big Walt is such an awesome dude, and gotten to know. Like, Walt is a friend of mine, and it is not that just because we were teammates. It's just that when I first retired, we talk about getting my boys involved in hockey and just like the events that we do. And Chantal, his wife, who she is just amazing, just an amazing person. They've done such a great job with their kids. Like those 2 boys would have every right to big time the world if they wanted.
Yep.
Yet guess what they've never done in their life?
Never big time.
They've never big timed anybody, anything. They're tremendous with the trainers. They come by and they'll visit a Synergy hockey camp if I ask them to. They sign the autographs for the kids. They take pictures. They talk to them. Like they're so grounded. And that all leads back, all roads lead back to the parents.
Yeah.
And so Chantal and Walt just an amazing job there. And I'm just really happy. It's fun to have friends of mine now getting honored in this capacity. Last year, obviously, Holly's a near and dear friend of mine, so him going in, no-brainer, of course.
Sure.
Keith Tkachuk, Pavel Demitra, no-brainers, in my opinion. as well. But just a lot of fun to see these guys still having the success after all these years.
Yeah, going back to what you said about the family aspect too, the apple never falls too far from the tree, right? And when we have Matthew on, or we had Brady on this past offseason, actually I think we had both boys on. During the pandemic, we had almost the whole family on.
Chantal, I think she
Father of three. When somebody, whether it's a teacher or somebody that has interacted with our kids, somebody comes back to you and says they're so polite, or they're so sweet, or they're so kind, or they're so whatever, that means so much to you. And when we have Matthew on, or we have Brady on, they're exactly as you described. They're grounded. You can tell they can have some fun.
Oh, they're great
But they're
kids.
so respectful. And Matthew, and Brady, I'm sure is right there too. But Matthew in the postseason last year became a star. I mean, you're looking at a star last year in Matthew Tkachuk. And like you said, out of anybody that could go on and big time you and say, "Nah, no thanks, man," blank off. That's not them, and that is a direct reflection on Keith and his wife Chantal.
Yeah, did a great job. It's like I said, I'm going to repeat myself over and over. It's just an awesome honor for those guys, awesome moment. And the best part is the other guys, their friends and their former teammates, we all get to live it with them.
Yeah.
We don't get the jacket, but we live the moment with them, and
No
that's
doubt.
that's just as
And
much
they're so
fun.
willing to share, you could tell.
Absolutely.
They are. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We've got our Sports Six Pack coming up next, 314-399-9646. If you have a question for us, send it to our Air Comfort Service text line, and we'll answer it next. Sports Six Pack next in the Fast Lane.
Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're right across from the event center inside River City Casino and Hotel ahead of tonight's St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey Gala, hosted by our very own Jamie Rivers. If you got tickets tonight, you got dinner and drinks, and I think it's going to be a live auction at one point as well, Jamie.
A lot of stuff going on, and we got some of the big boys, like you talked about, Reed Lowe, Twister, Cam Jansen. We're going to be breaking down some of their best fights in their careers, and we're going to be telling stories and drinking booze and having fun, Anthony.
A whole bunch of debauchery going on.
Can you please bring up to Cam when he absolutely blew up Carey Price?
Okay, we can talk about that, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments.
You like that one, eh, Marshy?
When Cam Jansen's skating down the ice, Carey Price comes out of his net, and he just lit him up.
That's one way. It's why I tell young kids, especially way back in the day, like when I was older, like the end of my career, kids think, oh, I can't find a fight out here. You know, they're acting like they're so tough. Mm-hmm. I'd laugh. I'd say, listen, you can always find a fight. It depends on what you're willing to do.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example. Cam, just go hit the goalie.
Just hit the goalie, yeah.
You'll find a fight.
Somebody's going to come after you.
Especially
absolutely.
one of the best goalies in the league.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Time.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's head back to our studios. Bradford Bruns ready to go. Question one, please.
Question number one.
All right, guys, from the 636, if the Blues had the same result against Pittsburgh as they did against Arizona, what changes do you think Chief will make?
Well, I think you'd have to look at changing some of the lines. I think if you're not getting enough offense out of your top guys, which is something that's been a problem this year for the Blues, and Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou have not gotten going yet. Pavel Buchnevich being injured, that certainly hampers it. But a lot is expected from those guys. So I would say that the line changes. I think you would see a possibility of some defensemen being changed as well. Maybe Scott Perunovich gets in the lineup here, Robert Bortuzzo. You can't just stand pat if things look bad. If you lose, it's one thing. If you lose, it's like, you know what? Sometimes you lose and you still had the best roster out on the ice. You just didn't play better than the opposition. If it looks bad, then you have to change it up. You can't continuously put out the same group of guys in the same line construction if it just looks bad. So although it looked bad last night, you can't panic, guys. It's the first game this season that it's looked bad. Mm-hmm. And now if they follow up against Pittsburgh, then you can notice some small tweaks. But again, you can't panic.
You're still only, 4 games in?
4 games
at that point.
You can't panic. Sometimes you can't let the result create a reactionary decision that makes it look like you've lost control.
Especially when you worked on something all off-season. That's where you get into trouble as decision makers. Mm-hmm. You work on this all off-season. You put in the work, you put in the time. You're telling your players over and over again, this is what we're going with because this is going to lead to success. And then you're 4 games in and you ditch it. That's not the way to do it.
Well, what does it tell your team?
It tells the team that you don't know what you're doing.
Well, it tells you that you're just it was throw whatever it is at the wall and see what happens.
That you're reactionary too. Oh, that just happened, so we're gonna change everything.
Yeah.
Was the defensive scheme last night necessarily the problem, or was it just turnovers?
Turnovers and execution. And I know those are 2 words. Like the turnovers is easy, but when you talk about execution, like, wow, that's a massive blanket when you talk about like execution. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether it was zone exits or breakouts, whatever terminology you'd like to use, whether it was transition in the neutral zone, there was very little to no sustained offensive time of possession.
Right.
The power play was not good. Again, in fact, power play 1 wasn't good. Power play 2 looked much better. And Craig Berube went back to power play 2 to start one of the power plays. They had like 5 shots on net, so at least you generated that. But yeah, just overall the execution throughout the game wasn't good. And defensively, they had a couple of lapses where 2 guys end up going to the same guy, left another player open. You got to clean that up. But again, you're 3 games into the season. it's not time to hit the big red panic button and be like, dismantle this thing.
Right. We want the big red easy button.
That would be
We want to
nice.
hit the easy button after goals are scored.
It's the second week of the season. Question 2, please.
Question number 2.
From the 314, if the Diamondbacks win tonight, should the Phillies be worried?
No.
You don't think player name is going to deal tonight for the Diamondbacks?
I mean, Joe Mattingly or whatever the hell his name is?
I don't think that's his name.
Watch this kid just dominate.
Well, you know how that works.
Yeah.
Who was the kid last night that just shoved?
Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon last name.
Brandon. He was awesome. He was throwing that sweeper constantly. Just had everybody diving out of the zone. But no, you're gonna have to go through Nola and Zach Wheeler again at some point to win this thing.
Well, probably next game you're gonna get
get
the
Wheeler,
game 1
right?
starter again.
Yeah. So no, I don't think so. Marsh. Question 3, please.
Question number 3.
From the 314, we love hypotheticals here in the fast lane. If Mizzou did not lose to LSU, do you think the Tigers would be a top 10 team in the nation after a win tomorrow going into Georgia?
I don't think they'd be top 10. I think they would be somewhere in the 15 to 17 range.
Let's look at the rankings here, shall we?
That's just, to me, that's my...
Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma, Penn State. So you wouldn't be in the top 7.
Even with a 7-0 record?
Yes. Texas.
Well, think about it. This question says after this week, so we have to account for Ohio State and Penn State playing this week. One of those teams is going to lose.
All right, so one of those teams, let's just say it's Penn State, just for sake of conversation. They bounce down. Texas is 5-1. Let's assume they beat Houston this week. They'd be 6-1. Oregon, let's assume they beat Washington State. They're 6-1. North Carolina, let's assume they beat. I forget who they're playing. I don't think it's a tough opponent. It is Virginia, so they should get a win. They're 7-0. That's your top 10 as of right now. Alabama is 11, and they're taking on Tennessee. So they'll be 7-1 if they knock off Tennessee. I think it would be very difficult for Mizzou to crack the top 10, even with a 7-0 record. But they would certainly be. I would have them over Oregon State. I would have them certainly over Ole Miss and Utah and Notre Dame. So I would say in that 11 to 12 range.
You don't think being in the SEC, they would get a little bit of leeway there because they are an SEC team, an undefeated SEC team? I feel like maybe the polls would be in favor of them.
Their wins would be against LSU and Kansas State, right? So, in Kentucky. Yeah, that would be 3 quality wins. You might be right, Marsh. Maybe they would be like 10.
But would it be considered a quality win based on the fact that LSU would have had 3 losses then? Then do you discard that as maybe LSU's not that good?
From what I've gathered with this committee.
You know what I'm saying?
I do, totally. From what I gather from this committee, Jamie, it's all about whether or not you face a ranked opponent. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that ranked opponent is 25. Like, you beat a ranked opponent. Bow down. So I don't think so. I don't think it would matter that LSU at that point would have had 3 losses or whatever. No. So Marsh, again, going back to you, maybe you do look at it because Texas had the win against Alabama and Kansas, but that's it. They lost to Oklahoma, so maybe you get ahead of Texas.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they lack playmakers offensively.
Pavel Dimitra, that's an understatement. But I don't think they lack, what was it, offensively?
Offensive playmakers.
Yeah, I don't think they lack that. I mean, if you look at Booch, you look at Thomas, you look at Kyrou, you look at Verana, Kapanen, like you've got some talent in this lineup. Even some of your so-called checking guys are talented. Like, look at Hazy last night. He had a couple of really nice passes, nice plays. Brandon Saad had a couple of good plays. I don't think – do they lack? Okay, do they have the same volume as some of the other teams? Maybe not. But they're not a team that is lacking offensive punch. They haven't scored any goals yet. It'd be nice to create it offensively, but I don't believe they're lacking the playmakers. I think they're lacking the execution right now.
Do you think that the Blues –
No, they unfortunately and fortunately, yes, it runs
through those contracts.
Yeah, why did you give them?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
What does it say about those contracts if it doesn't run through them?
So, although, the dollar amount, it's unfair sometimes to equate that to, how much you expect out of the performance. In other ways, it's not unfair. I mean, you're being paid top dollar to be the best guys on the team, and they have not been that yet.
Would you consider splitting them up?
Yes and no. Because, again, I believe you signed them together, identical, all this stuff, to play them together. And theoretically, Robert Thomas is a distributor of the puck, and Kyrou is a goal scorer. So, on paper, it works, and it has worked. Look at last year. Like, 3 games in, they still, even in 3 games, they still have a goal. Robert Thomas to Jordan Kyrou scores a goal. It'd be nice if you had 2 or 3 or 4. I get it. But these guys, in my opinion, these guys are slated to play together. You know, Chief talks about pairs. This is a pair. He's not going to – I don't think he splits them up anytime soon, and I think he's going to ride it out with those guys.
Hey, we do need a new gauntlet contestant, so if you want to play us in about 15 minutes or so, just text into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646, and you have your chance to take on either Jamie, Marsh, or me today in the gauntlet. Again, gauntlet coming up at 4 o'clock. We just talked to a little college football. Let's get into it, though. Let's get into it a little bit more. We'll talk about this Missouri and South Carolina matchup, as well as the big one in the Big Ten next on 101 ESPN.
Casino and Hotel for the inaugural Blues Warriors Awards Gala on 101 ESPN.
Take it.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. We are live for the St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey Gala, which is tonight. We're inside the River City Casino Hotel, right across from the event center, where the event will be taking place tonight. College football, Week 8 primer. First of all, I can't believe we're in Week 8. It's almost sad that this college football season is rolling as quickly as it is. But tomorrow, locally, 2:30. Kickoff between South Carolina and Mizzou. South Carolina comes in 2-4. They're 0-2 on the road. Mizzou 6-1, 3-1 at home. Obviously, the one loss against LSU. Any concerns, guys, that Mizzou is in trouble against South Carolina?
Well, Anthony, personally, I will be attending that game tomorrow.
Oh, Marshy road trip.
What was the other game that you attended?
The Middle Tennessee game.
Okay, so that was a little bumpy. But
it was a little bumpy.
That was also the last time we kind of yelled at Mizzou, right?
Yes.
Marshy or the game?
Both.
Yeah.
Am I a little,
mean,
I'm a little bumpy?
He's accountable.
I thought you were a little bumpy that day. Remember you and I had a little talk that day?
I was a little bumpy.
Yeah, a little bumpy.
I was a little bumpy.
I got a phone call from Marshy that day.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't even me, but we did talk on the phone.
We sure did.
So I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. I think this matchup features the strengths of Mizzou and not so much for South Carolina. South Carolina's pass is going to be clicking again for Mizzou. I mean, Mississippi State threw for 487 yards. 487 yards against South Carolina.
Is that good?
Not if you're South Carolina. Yes, if you're Mississippi State. And I like Mizzou's passing game more than I like Mississippi State's passing game. So
then why do people get all uptight? Every time we look at the schedule, we're like, South Carolina.
I think that's just that kind of the Mizzou. It's the Mizzou thing.
Every game's a trap game.
Yeah, every game you're like, This is the cycle. I root for Mizzou to do well. I'm not a Mizzou fan. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put myself in that category and take away from actual fans. But I do root for them to do well.
What's your problem with them, Anthony? Why don't
I knew
you like
going
them?
there. Mizzou, I'm just going to keep the feet moving. So when it comes to Mizzou, I feel like the cycle is always, oh, yeah, South Carolina, we're good on this. You know what? I could see them lose. I don't know. Now I'm kind of panicked about this one. Like, that is the cycle when it comes to this.
And then they show up.
And then you're fine. You shouldn't have that kind of feel after last week. You know, you go into Lexington, you beat them.
At what point do you get confident with this Mizzou team?
I think last week was it.
Yeah.
You fall behind 14-0 on the road.
To Kentucky,
which is a good team this year, and then you come all the way back and you do what you do and you slam the door on them fools. I like that. I think you should feel confident. Spencer Rattler, though, the numbers don't indicate it. Spencer Rattler's having an outstanding year. Mm-hmm. His offensive line at some point may have to file a suit against his O-line for abuse, but he's playing well. So I wouldn't be shocked if Spencer Rattler had himself a big game tomorrow, but I think Mizzou wins this game.
All right.
South Carolina's not going to be able to stop throwing. That's the problem. And when you get in that mode and you can't run the ball and you're chasing points constantly, that's a bad recipe for success. You're looking at a lot of 3-and-outs in the second half.
I just hope I'm not like, a bad influence.
A mush?
Yeah, last time I was there, it was a close game against an opponent that they should have blown out. So I hope I'm not the problem,
I don't view you as a problem, Marsh,
Oh, I appreciate that.
So I don't think you should view yourself as a potential problem. I think you're just fine.
Well, thank you, Anthony, because if they do end up playing pretty poorly, I'm going to be a little Spencer rattled on Saturday.
How long have you been sitting on that?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a couple minutes.
Marsh, he's been thinking about how he could get it in there.
Marsh was thinking, like, this is going to be good.
All right. Marshy, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, I do too. All right, so the big game tomorrow in college football is Penn State at Ohio State.
Who you got, man?
I got Ohio State
I
in this
do too.
one.
I don't think Penn State's real.
People are all hot and bothered by Penn State this year. Like, they love them some Penn State football.
Yeah.
This is a game, and I know Penn State is more than capable of winning this, but Can we go over their schedule? They opened up against West Virginia. Then they played the Delaware.
The Delaware Blue Hens.
Blue Hens, that's right. They hung 63 on them. They should hang 63 on Delaware. Then they faced, no offense to ILL there, but they beat Illinois.
Gary Davis.
Iowa, which doesn't have an offense. I don't think they play with an offense. I think they just put their defense on the field.
No,
They're like, listen, if we're gonna score here, it's got to be a defensive touchdown.
They're going to field goal you to death.
They're going to field goal the Northwestern and UMass. Why does anybody like, oh, Penn State is just this? Wow, they're going to go into the horseshoe and beat them.
Oh, they're going to the horseshoe?
They're going to the horseshoe.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Here's the thing. Last time we did something similar to this was with Oklahoma, and they beat Texas.
They did. That was the Red River rivalry.
And by the way, we're going to get to our Pick'em challenge. Did you end up taking the Saints last night?
I certainly did.
So I told you
trailing
before the show.
Yeah.
What did we learn from Brandon Staley?
Yeah.
Instead of getting ahead,
just kick the field goal.
Just kick the field goal, right? Get the tie. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves now because Penn State could beat Ohio State.
Look, they absolutely could. They're a good team. I don't have them doing it, though.
I don't either. I think the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to win.
There you go. I'm glad when we're all on the same side. Marshall's right. We usually lose that one. Lose that one. Yeah, that Saints pick, guys. I'm either
what the hell were you thinking?
I'm either a genius or a dope on that one, and I'm a dope.
Well, you know what?
There's no in between on that.
You know what's even funnier about that fade in the end zone is that Anthony had them winning the game.
I did.
Yeah.
And that's why I sent the text, because I knew you had them winning, and I knew that you would be irritated that they threw that fade.
The bottom line is I got us down 1-0 now in this Pick'em challenge.
It's all right, Anthony. We're going to come roaring back.
Thank you. That's right.
Jinx. You owe me beer. What?
You owe me a soda?
No, you got to say my name.
Why?
What?
That's Jinx. You got to say the name.
I've never done that.
I've never heard of that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, what state did you grow up in?
Well, we don't know.
We
That's
don't know.
the problem.
All right, we got the gauntlet next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Blues Warriors Gala at the River City Casino and Hotel. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 3 Warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
Take it.
Time for the gauntlet here in the Fast Lane. 404, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Brian, or on the text line, Brian is affectionately known as Day Drinking Brian. What's up, Brian?
Good afternoon, fellas.
Everything good? Having a good weekend? Or a good start to your weekend?
Horrible Blues game last night, and winterizing boats today, so it's a somber day.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you listening then. Brian, would you like to take on Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, or me today in the gauntlet?
Well, you didn't ask if I've been in the gauntlet yet.
Have you?
I have not done 2.0, and I have yet to get by Stalter, so I'm going to have to stick with Stalter because I haven't beat him yet.
Oh, this is a revenge.
Yes, so it's a revenge spot. Did you play me in Gauntlet 1.0?
Well, yeah, 1.0. And a couple years ago, during a snowstorm, that's when we were day drinking during a snowstorm, and I was on the gauntlet. That's when I started saying day drinking, Brian.
Okay, very good. Well, Brian, good luck to you, man.
All right, Anthony is going to find somewhere to hide in here.
Blackjack table will be good.
Yeah, you never know. No, I've got it. All right. Sorry, guys. We're on.
The answers are not highlighted.
Yeah.
They're italicized.
Well, I still don't even see that. So that's all right. Okay, Brian, we're going to get kicking here. Okay, buddy? We're true professionals around here. All right. Coming up in a bit, Jordan Montgomery aims to lift the Rangers past the Astros in Game 5 of the ALCS. Monty was originally drafted by the Yankees in 2014. That same year, the Cardinals spent the 27th overall pick on what pitcher?
2014?
Yes, sir.
All right, give me the options.
All right, was it Dakota Hudson, Tyler Lyons, or Luke Weaver?
Let's go with Weaver.
All right, final answer?
Final answer.
All right, thank you.
Question number 2. The 2023 MLB regular season saw a total of 4 no-hitters. Who tossed the first one back on June 28th against the Oakland Athletics?
Options.
Options are Sonny Gray, Domingo Germán, or Garrett Cole.
Cole, final answer.
All right, Brian, question 3. Tonight on 101 ESPN, the Phillies look to seize a 3-1 lead over the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. Name Philadelphia's all-time leader in at-bats.
All-time leader in at-bats.
Yes, sir.
Mike Schmidt.
Final answer?
Final answer.
And question number 4. Phillies star Bryce Harper turned 31 earlier this week. At Las Vegas High School, what was Harper's primary position?
I'd take a shot in the dark and say shortstop and final answer. Why? Or for some reason I'm thinking he was a catcher, but I already said final answer.
All right.
All right. Now we got to try and find Anthony. No idea where the hell he's at. Talking to people, bothering people. You see people running from security's now headed his way. I'm not really sure what's going on.
He's taking a sweet time.
He sure is. Hey,
They
Anthony.
probably split queens at the blackjack table.
Take your time, Anthony. All right. Don't worry about us over here. No. We're trying, though. All right. How was the cone of silence or the room of silence? We could see you through the windows.
Checking out the auction items for tonight.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah. So this is pretty fun here at the event center at River City Casino Hotel.
Yeah,
but more importantly, how did Brian do?
Well, you better pack a lunch.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Especially
Or two.
Or two. Yeah, you never know.
What we got, hockey today or hockey?
Well, we don't have football. We got baseball.
Oh, okay.
All right, Anthony.
I like
Question
baseball.
1. Coming up tonight, Jordan Montgomery aims to lift the Rangers past the Astros in Game 5 of the ALCS. Monty was originally drafted by the Yankees in 2014. That same year, the Cardinals spent the 27th overall pick on what pitcher?
Oh, boy. 2014, you said?
Correct.
Jamie, I feel like you and I have looked at this era as a big miss for the Cardinals. So the names that are coming up are like Dakota Hudson, Jack Flaherty, Shelby Miller was before that. But let's narrow it down. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody.
All right.
Can I have the options?
Was
please?
it Dakota Hudson, Tyler Lyons, or Luke Weaver?
Oh, Dream Weaver. I know it wasn't Lions. I thought about Hudson, but now that you said the Luke Weaver, was he 2014? I think he'd be in that area. Yeah, I'm going to say Luke Weaver, final answer.
Question number 2. The 2023 MLB regular season saw a total of 4 no-hitters. Who tossed the first one back on June 28th against the Oakland Athletics?
That would be Domingo Germán of the Yankees. Final answer.
Question 3. Tonight on 101 ESPN, the Phillies look to seize a 3-1 lead over the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. Name Philadelphia's all-time leader in at-bats.
Oh, man. Well, the first name that comes to mind is Mike Schmidt. Chase Utley had a ton of ABs, I'm sure. Jimmy Rollins had a ton of ABs. Ryan Howard had a ton of ABs. I'm going to ask for the options again. I got to narrow this down.
Was it Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, or Mike Schmidt?
I really helped myself there, didn't I, Jamie?
As you were saying, I was like, I cannot believe this.
I eliminated Ryan Howard, so that was good. I think Jimmy Rollins holds a ton of records for the Phillies, including maybe even base hits. Head says Mike Schmidt, gut says Jimmy Rollins. And you should always go with your head. So I'm going to go with Jimmy Rollins since I'm a contrarian. Jimmy Rollins, final answer.
Question number 4. Phillies star Bryce Harper turned 31 earlier this week. At Las Vegas High School, what was Harper's primary position?
Oh, wow. Normally you put the better players at shortstop, so I'll say shortstop. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these things here. Let's start right there. Question 4. Philly star Bryce Harper turned 31 earlier in the week. At Las Vegas High School, what was Harper's primary position? Brian, you said shortstop. Anthony, you said shortstop.
The shortstop.
Answer is?
Well, after Brian said final answer, he said maybe he was a catcher. He indeed was a catcher.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, a missed opportunity there. No score after 1. Let's go to question number 1.
Was shortstop an option?
Yes, of course it was.
Okay.
No, actually it wasn't.
No?
No. Catcher, second base, or pitcher. All right, question number 1. Talking about Jordan Montgomery and the Rangers playing tonight. Monty was originally drafted by the Yankees in 2014. That same year, the Cardinals spent the 27th overall pick on what pitcher? Brian, you said Luke Weaver. Anthony, you said Luke Weaver. Answer is?
It is Luke Weaver.
Nice.
But both of you needed the options.
Oh, Jamie, you got me on that one.
All right.
Yeah, because Hudson, I think, was like the 19th pick or something.
Question 3. Tonight on 101 ESPN, make sure you tune in. Phillies look to seize a 3-1 lead over the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. Name Philadelphia's all-time leader in at-bats. Brian, without the options, you said Mike Schmidt.
Oh,
Brian.
You have chosen.
Tough one today, brother.
Still can't get past it. Carter Lacey was.
Man, no doubt. Congratulations. That's awesome.
There you go, Anthony. You just
got the Phillies hit leader. Who is the Phillies hit leader?
Jimmy Rollins.
Rollins.
Yeah. He had a hit streak going on.
Going
He's
like
always
that.
going like that.
Don't worry, Marshy.
Marsh, keep rolling.
Sometimes it's calculated.
Yeah, you got to
just need a laugh here.
Keep going.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's just not the Blues specialty. I heard from neighbor Dave. I just flipped over my phone. He goes, front page of Sports Illustrated. Catch. It totally is.
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
Don't
No,
worry.
Yeah. I was going down with shortstop no matter what there.
That was long.
Yeah.
Time
but
ago.
Blues special teams next on 101 ESPN.
Coyotes, the third consecutive game to open the season. The Blues allow the first goal of the game to go in the period.
Take it.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Chris Kerber on the stat out there. He scored the goal. Jamie, what's not okay?
Yeah, for the power play. Can't entering the zone. They're having trouble possessing the net. Like, just take what's given to you.
I feel like this has been kind of a reoccurring theme. Whenever the Blues power play unit has been down,
yeah,
I feel like that is often the thing that needs to be corrected. Am I wrong in that thinking? Like, it almost becomes too complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I realized, Jamie, and I thought you brought up a great point. This really stuck with me with the power play. You had talked about how you don't always have to just immediately start firing shots on the net as soon as you get on a power play. Because whether you score 1 second into the power play or 1 second to go in the power play, it all counts the same.
Yep.
But when you were talking about wearing a penalty-killing unit down throughout the course of a power play, just constant, they're out in the ice, and their legs are getting heavy, and then firing one through, perfect. But it's almost this push and pull with the Blues sometimes where they don't take their opportunities because maybe they're trying to wear down an opponent, and then before you know it, they got one shot on a power play.
Yeah, it's not. It is that with the first power play unit right now, they're always looking for the better highlight, and the bigger, better goal, where you have an opportunity where guys are getting the puck in the danger areas, in the inner slot area, but then they're passing out of the slot to find the guy who's backdoor for the one-timer. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, if instinctually it happens from time to time, it's fine. That's why they're out there. They're gifted hockey players. They're creatively gifted. They're physically gifted. They're able to make those plays. But you're also allowed to just take what's given to you sometimes too. And I think that's where the first power play unit has missed. And then when it comes to outworking the opposition or just retrieving loose pucks, it just hasn't been there for that first unit. So, the Blues power play still has lots of work to do. They haven't scored a goal yet this season, and the penalty kill had been very good for the Blues until last night. And what we saw last night, if you watch the game or if you're listening right now and you go back and watch the highlights, is a very savvy Coyotes team. They recognized that the top forward in the defensive zone was pressuring the puck up high. So the Coyotes would pass it to their defenseman, who was all the way up at the blue line. And as soon as that pressure would come out towards the defenseman, he would move it to the half wall, and the half wall would go right through the seam to the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
They did it, I don't even know how many times, and the Blues never adjusted. So in that situation there, Oscar Sundqvist either has to be more patient and not charge out there and stay in the shot lane so that the defenseman really, his option, and that is the best option, by the way, because the defenseman at that point can't look and stare you in the eyes, basically. You're in the shot lane and then still shoot it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a stupid play.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets it blocked, Sonny has the opportunity to go on offense at that point.
Yeah.
So there was no need to charge out and take away time and space. My theory on it is you sit back, and what that does is it puts that one player up high on an island. He's useless. So therefore, it's 4-on-4 down low below the tops of the circles.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do that. Oscar Sundqvist and other players, Jake Neighbors too, they kept charging out, taking away time and space, which I understand the concept and the thought process behind it. But once the puck starts moving down to the half wall and then straight through the diamond because you don't have anybody there, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it ended up hitting the back of the net. That Bukestad goal is a one-timer. It was board-to-board one-timer.
Zucker had one, too. Nice sauce pass. I don't know what you can do about that one, but
Well, you could have somebody in the area.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem, is they were spread out. So if you are going to continue to pressure up high like that, your weak side forward now, he has to fold into the middle of the ice. So if you picture a diamond is your penalty kill.
Yeah.
As soon as that one guy goes up to extend the diamond, at that point you have to shrink in and out, and then you make a triangle on the one half of the ice. So what happens there is you're taking away a slot pass for them, so if they want to use the bumper, it's really not available. And if they're trying to go board to board, they've got to get through a couple of bodies now.
Which is tough.
Which is tough, and it's tough to get it through clean. It's tough to execute that to perfection.
It's like a ping pong. It's like whatchamacallit. What's the game?
Pong?
No, the
pinball.
Pinball.
There
Thank
you go. I didn't know where you were
Jeez.
headed.
My brain shut off.
It sure did.
Yeah. Right when I needed it.
Yeah. But so that's, that was problematic last night, and I guarantee that Craig Berube, he spoke about watching video today. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that they went over the penalty kill, because at times they were aggressive when they just didn't need to be, and there were guys that were switching off when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And so that's got to be corrected, because I can promise you this, that the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be watching that, and they have some serious power play guys too. And they're going to look to try and drag that guy out there and repeat the process against the Blues, so they better have a solution for it.
No doubt.
For that final power play goal, that Dursey goal that rang off the pipe, there's a guy standing right in the line of sight of Joel Hofer.
Did you see that, though?
I did. There's two defensemen standing right next to him. How, as a defenseman, what is the best course of action when you want to take that guy out and make sure that your goalie has a line of sight, but also not give up that backdoor post?
Yeah, so on that play there, I think you just pitchfork the guy. Mm-hmm. You put your stick between his legs and you just drive him right out of the front of the net, especially if you have two guys there. You just get aggressive, just jam the stick, not in a dirty way, but you jam it so you've got good body position, and then you just drive him out of there, just like an offensive lineman would drive back a defensive lineman when trying to create a run
lane
or an opening for a running play.
Does that winger needs to then slide down to take that
on that play there, the Dursey where he came off the wall and walked right to the middle and scored, two guys went to the same guy.
Right.
The two Blues forwards end up going to the same guy in the half wall, which let him just walk right down Broadway and have that opportunity. And on that play, Kasperi Kapanen, he stayed wide. Mm-hmm. He didn't recognize, not soon enough, that the middle of the ice was wide open. So really on that play, Kasperi Kapanen should have been cutting right to the middle of the ice to take away the shot lane. And then you don't have to worry about the guy in front too much, because the defenseman will fan out then to take care of the guy who's on the back door. So you get 1D on the back door, 1D on the guy in front. But now at least you have a guy that's in the shot lane in Kapanen. It didn't. Two guys went to the wrong guy. Then Kapanen didn't adjust on that play. It ends up with Joel Hofer not being able to see the puck at all, and it goes in.
I feel like that's what happened when Jacob Verana ended up scoring. Same thing.
Yep.
He walks off the wall, gets the puck. I thought he did a great job with extending his stick to kind of, open up that shooting lane, and I thought that was a great goal. It wasn't on the power play, though, but I thought he looked great on the power play.
He had a much better game. Jacob Veron has been pretty quiet for the first couple of games. Last night he had a much better game. He became relevant last night, certainly with the goal. Then he had an assist. He had a beautiful pass to Sammy Blais on that goal. So it's nice to see him get going a little bit too, because obviously the offense needs a little help here.
Yeah, no kidding. That's Jamie Rivers. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're going to talk to somebody that helps set up the St. Louis Blues Warrior hockey at the Gala, which is going on tonight right here at River City Casino and Hotel. And he's going to tell us why the St. Louis Blues Warrior hockey, something like this tonight, is so important to our disabled veterans. That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, when it comes to purchasing a home, securing a loan, going through that process, sometimes that can be nerve-wracking. You found the house that's all part of the process, and that might not be a fun one. But when it comes to our guy Stewie, it's fun for him to help you save money. So when you're looking for a home, you're looking to purchase a home, Stewie's got to be your guy.
Yeah, he should be your first phone call, first text, whatever it is. Even if you have a realtor that has their preferred lender, which we know happens, and that's fine. Stewie wants to make sure that you get a second opinion, because he has a lot of different programs and strategies that he's built or learned over the years that can help you. And a lot of times people don't even know there's options available to them, and that's because they don't talk to a guy like Stewie. So please pick up the phone or text our guy Stewie, tell him that Anthony and Jamie sent you. His number's pretty simple, but here it's 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
Call him, text him, day, night, weekend, doesn't matter. Anthony, if you can't remember that number, what can you do?
Well, Jamie can always Google the bagel.
NMLS number 226715.
Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're in the Fast Lane, broadcasting live from River City.
Here we go.
Hell, for the inaugural Blues Warriors Awards Gala on 101 ESPN.
We're back.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. You heard the promo coming in. We are live at the River City Casino and Hotel, inside the hotel right across from the event center. And there is a very important event going on tonight, and it should be a fun one, in fact, where Jamie is going to be hosting. And we got former Blues players Cam Jansen and Reed Lowe and Tony Twist coming here as well. Live auction. It's all for the St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey Gala. And joining us right now from the St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey is Josh Perschbacher. And Josh, thank you so much for joining us. In fact, we saw you a couple of weeks ago down at Scott Air Force Base. Yep. And, Josh, what you guys do helping disabled veterans have an opportunity to still play hockey, I find to be remarkable and heartwarming and just, quite frankly, just a kick-ass foundation. Why is tonight so important?
It's important because we've been doing this since 2020. It started off as a small organization with about 20 skaters there in the summer of 2020. Feels like a lifetime ago. And we couldn't really get together and do some of those events like we wanted to. So almost 3 years in the making, we're finally able to get together and start doing that. And the organization started, like I said, with 20 people. And in less than a year, we had over 100 skaters. We are at almost 150 now with 5 teams, different skill levels. So it's really grown, exponentially in that time, things that nobody could have ever expected when we got started way back when. Changing, we couldn't go in the locker rooms because of the COVID lockdown, so we were getting changed on the side of the ice, on the benches, and out there on the Plager rink. And then they invited us all out to get our sweaters. We did have Bernie Fedorko, Colton Parayko was out there, and they've treated us like family the entire time, getting us out there on the ice. It's been great.
Yeah, so I was just going to touch on that. How important and how amazing is it to have that relationship that you guys have with the big club, the St. Louis Blues?
Yeah, it's really invaluable because we've seen some of the other organizations, and there are probably in the ballpark of 50 Warrior hockey organizations across the country. Not all of them have affiliations with NHL franchises. And so when it comes to coaching, Rob Ramage was our first coach. And he would still be here if he wasn't VP of player development for the Canadians and on the road, seeing prospects and doing that. But we've got Coach Harv, Don Harvey, spent some time in the USHL. He's out there. Losey's been out there with us. We've had a lot of guys coming out there and supporting. We've had Coach Scherer from, I think he's with CarShield, doing some stuff. So it's great to have that, connection that other people are just a beer league team.
Yeah.
They don't have the resources, being able to be out there at Centene Community Ice Center. And I mean no disrespect to Wentzville, but I was out there skating for the first, I never skated before, 37 years old, and picked up hockey for the first time.
No kidding.
It was like, sure, why not?
Seems like easy.
Seems like something we should do.
Yeah.
And so for the first, 3 months, we're out there skating every day, and it's the times we're out there, and we're at Centene on the Blues ice. And then all of a sudden, I go out there to play a pickup game in Wentzville, and it was like, oh, this is how the rest of people play hockey. The ice at McKendree and Kirkwood and Brentwood and everywhere is not up to the same as what Blues practice ice is. That's just a fact. But to go out there and be like, oh, I didn't know what these other barns kind of were because I didn't grow up playing hockey. I didn't do youth hockey. Didn't do all that. So we kind of saw the difference going on the USA rink and the NHL rink, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh. The benches, have a lot bigger drop at some of these places. It's a little different, coming over the side at the other barns.
So it kind of reminds me of baseball, right? Like when you're playing college ball and the fields are manicured perfectly, and then you go to you drop down a level. Is that a divot at third base? I'm going to back up a little bit.
Yeah. So for some of our listeners who don't quite get it, or they're trying to figure out, what you guys are as a hockey club. Walk us through it, because it's not a men's league team. It's not a beer league team.
Right.
You guys have set practice days, times, coaching, tournaments. This is the real deal.
Yeah, it started several years ago. The Warrior Hockey is through USA Hockey. And so there's a subset of that with disabled hockey. So you've got sled, blind hockey, special hockey, and then they developed the Warrior Hockey. So anybody who has a honorable discharge and a disability rating, and that can be 10% disability, and that might be somebody who has tinnitus from hearing jets or artillery rounds and things like that, to people who have lost limbs. It kind of goes the full spectrum of what a disability is. And then we go out and play these other teams. Like you said, they had the Warrior Classic was in Denver 2 weeks ago. Had some teams represented out there. Took 5. Charlie took championship, 3rd in a row that they won. So that's 3 tournaments in a row that they've brought home the crown. But yeah, we have probably 5 tournaments a year that we go and travel for. We've got ice at Centene Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday mornings at 6:30. So going out there doing that. We've got my former NHL and local guy, Mike McKenna, as our goalie coach.
Nice.
So you can do a lot worse than
Mike's great.
Played in the league. And we've got guys that never played goalie before, but they played catcher.
Okay. Yeah.
And have made the transition, and we joke with Helvey about it. We're like, if you're going to try to go, don't go glove side. He's very, very good on glove side.
He can catch.
Always go high blocker, because that's where he hasn't honed his craft, so to speak. But he'll get you with the leather on the other side for sure.
No kidding.
So the last thing here before we let you go. Let's talk about the Gala tonight.
Yeah.
What exactly is the Gala? Like, obviously, I understand I'm a part of it tonight, but for some of our listeners who are just tuning in, this is your first ever Gala for the club. Maybe explain how it came together and what people can expect tonight.
Yeah, so we started planning this several years ago. We were looking at wanting to do something like this, and we finally got things together, and so we're going to have it this year. Picked out the date. Had to find a time when the Blues, were on an off night.
Mm-hmm.
Helped out a lot. That's how you get Rivers to be out here and help out when he's in the middle of the homestand or not on the road. Going, staying in hotels. So lucked out there, and we're going to have dinner, cocktail hour. We're going to do the Talking Tough, and so we're going to have Cam, Losey, and Twister come out and talk about some of their fights that they had, kind of critique some of the other fights that are pretty well known around the league, and then break down the awards. And so we're going to have 15 different awards we're going to give out to various people on the team, recognize them for what they've done, and then we'll have an auction at the end, and we've got silent auction on the one side, and then we're going to have probably about 10 to 12 items that if you've never seen Reed Lowe do an auction, the real deal. Third generation auctioneer. And I did want to say to Jamie here, as a thank you, there's a store pick bottle of bourbon, and I'll let you. I don't know what all we can say on here.
No,
with brands.
I'll say it. It's Buffalo Trace. This is my
my
go-to.
Jamie's jam.
This is my go-to. Well, I really appreciate that.
You know how to speak Jamie Rivers.
Yeah,
absolutely. The first time we met, that was kind of the thing. Was we were playing at the fantasy camp, and started talking whiskeys, and that was
That's usually how all conversations with Jamie start. What whiskey do you like, or what bourbon do you like?
Yeah.
Well, Josh, we're really looking forward to tonight's Gala. It goes to just a tremendous cause, and thank you for everything that you do. And I know that you are a defenseman, right?
That's right.
So you model your game after Jamie?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I've been on the ice with him before. He's a good player, man.
I took number 75, and at the time, me and Revo were the only ones to ever wear 75 in the note.
Yeah.
And now we got Tyler Tucker, a defenseman, rocking 75.
There you go, buddy.
Pretty happy to see him coming up and playing well.
No doubt.
Well, I have a blast with these guys every time I'm with them, whether it's on the ice, whether it's at the rink, whether it's at some of these events. I can't wait for tonight. Thanks for all you do with this, and you guys keeping it all connected the way you do is awesome, man. So I hope tonight's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to follow us, look at social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those. Give us a shout, give us a follow. We've got Prepcast, the local Tim Miller does like high school games. They broadcast our games. We've got equipment.
Awesome.
We do all of that. So when we're on the road, people back home can watch, and families can see people playing. So anybody wants to follow us on there, they can do that for sure.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Josh Perschbacher from the St. Louis Warrior Hockey, and tonight's going to be a great great event. The Gala is tonight, hosted by our very own Jamie Rivers. Josh, thanks again.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We got more Blues hockey coming up next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Tomorrow, college football is on ESPN. Ohio State.
Don't worry about it, Brad.
Yeah,
just roll. Just get me going. I'll go Han Solo here.
Ooh, I like that. 20 seconds. Let's do it.
Let's go, baby.
I wanted to hear her exclaim, "Go Blues! Don't lose by 5 to the Penguins tomorrow."
Yeah. She might have.
5 seconds.
Saving money on your car or your home insurance is important. So deal with the best in the business. That's Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. They're awesome people. No matter what your situation is, they'll take care of you and make sure that you're comfortable with the process. The worst feeling in the world is having something go wrong. It's not the epic death. Something goes wrong, and not having someone that can help you through it. Or you're having to dial a 1-800 number. You don't get the same person. It's confusing and it's chaotic. Take that stress out of your life. Get over and join Tracy Bibb from the Bibb Agency. She's going to make sure you have the proper coverage, and her team is going to fight with the lowest rates available. But that's the biggest thing, is knowing that you're covered and knowing that you're taken care of by someone who cares about you, and you're not just another phone number to them. So please get in touch with Tracy. Tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you in. She'll give you a free non-committed quote. All you have to do is call 314-328-4260. That's 314-328-4260. No fib. Very good hands.
Warriors Gala at the River City Casino and Hotel. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
You're live.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. We are live at River City Casino and Hotel across from the Event Center, where tonight you got the St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey Gala hosted by our very own Jamie Rivers. A lot of the frustrations in the early going thus far, Jamie, for the Blues have been about the offense, the lack of scoring overall. You call me all the time asking me for my hockey knowledge, and it's never a bother. I'm more than willing to share some hockey stuff with you, Jamie.
I appreciate you doing that. It's great because I know you're a busy guy and you got 3 kids and they're young.
No.
So whenever you can carve out some time for me to go over things and diagram them, it's always appreciated.
Yeah, it's no problem, Jamie. So the thing that I'm seeing, and I just want you to kind of react to what I'm going to say.
Okay.
What I'm seeing thus far is if you don't have the puck, it's kind of hard to score. The possession time, especially last night, not great.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I mean that's a deep thought.
You gotta have the puck if you're going to score the puck.
Yeah, I mean those are words to live by.
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. The Blues are not possessing the puck enough. It was choppy last night watching it. Calling the game, you can feel. That's one thing too that I've learned as far as being on the games now. Is you can tell when there's good pace and good flow to the game because you look up, and the clock is 10 minutes into the game, and it feels like nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, and last night, I'm looking up, it's like we're 2.5 minutes in. It's like the 5th face-off here.
Yeah.
Like it just, you could tell it had no flow.
Yeah.
And part of the issue with that was the fact the Blues just weren't supporting the puck good enough. They weren't connected. You'll hear that a lot from Craig Berube, so I'll use the same words and explain what it means. All it means is making sure that you're available for a pass from your teammate or you're in a good spot to retrieve a puck from your teammate. If you're disconnected, means you're so far away you can't help, you're not an option, and that player with the puck has no options except to be taken, have the puck taken by the opposition. So that's disconnected. Connected is where the player with the puck always has options. And they weren't there last night. And when they did chip the puck down the wall, there was no 50-50 battle. The Coyotes were gaining possession of the puck, and they were turning it up the ice. There were a couple of moments in the game where they had some sustained pressure, but that's not good that I can remember that.
Yeah.
It should have been where you're like, okay, there were a couple of moments where we didn't have really good puck possession, not the reverse to where you only remember a couple of times where you did have that extended period of time with the puck. They've got to work on it. They've got to work on it for the top line. I'd say they're just a little too cutesy right now. They've got to get down to basics, basically. They're so fast and they're so talented that it doesn't always have to be a Picasso. Like Jordan Kyrou can chip it off the wall himself, skate around the defenseman, and go get the puck. He's that fast.
Yeah.
Robert Thomas is able to make a great 10-foot pass, tape to tape, to Brandon Saad, who's skating at full speed and doesn't have to tap the brakes or go behind him or look for it in his skates. So those are things that are going to help your team overall. I think the Blues defensemen have done a real good job of trying to keep offense going. So one of the biggest complaints that forwards will have sometimes is the defensemen don't hold the blue line long enough. And the reason they get mad is they do all this work to get into the offensive zone, and when the puck comes around to the blue line, if the defenseman just backs out, it's like, well, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
Now I got to go all the way back over and start. Well, the Blues defensemen have done a good job of holding the blue line where they can, when it's possible.
Sure.
Justin Falk, I think he's been on his toes all season. I think Colton Parayko has been really good for the Blues. He's been on his toes. Torrey Krug is, looking to create some offense too. So overall, this group just has to focus on making simpler plays where they can keep team speed going north towards the opposition's net.
Would you like to see the offense drive wide a little bit more? We saw that from the Coyotes last night. Logan Cooley did it. He ended up drawing a penalty against Marco Scandella. I don't think we've seen enough of that from this Blues team.
When it's available, yeah, I'm here for it all day long. But the problem is you're not generating enough speed in your transition game. So what's happening is the opposition's defensemen are able to stand you up at the blue line. So as much as you'd like to go wide, there's no wide available.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're skating you into bad ice quickly, which is just angling you out along the boards. And then what do? You try to chip it forward, right? But if it's your last resort, if you're not thinking that, hey, we're going to advance the puck by chipping it up the wall here, you don't have that slash support. You don't have that guy coming through the middle of the ice knowing that, hey, their defensemen are standing us up here. So when my teammate gets to the blue line, he's going to chip it past the defenseman.
Right.
I'm going to be behind him already on my horse, retrieve that puck. Now we get some offensive zone time. We're not getting that because it's choppy in the neutral zone, or the passes are behind in the skates, or they're wobbly. And so then the defensemen for the other teams are able to stand up quickly at the blue line with nowhere to go.
And I would say that they've spent so much time in their defensive zone, by the time they do get the puck and they're ready to rush up ice and they do chip it in, guys are already leaving the ice to go change because they've been out there for so long.
And that creates disconnected, right? Because you get one guy out there who maybe has fresh legs and he's got the puck skating up the neutral zone. He looks around and he's all by himself because everybody else is going to change.
Yeah, we saw that a few times. I remember a specific moment when Kevin Hayes had the puck, and like you said, he was pretty heavy on the puck last night, which is another thing that Craig Berube talks about, being heavy on the puck. I feel like we didn't see a lot of that last night, a lot of reaching. That was one thing I picked up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Coyotes elevated a part of the physicality last night, too, where I think there should have been a pushback from the Blues.
I agree. I thought that maybe Tyler Tucker would do something. I was hoping that there would be a fight of some kind, maybe just some type of scrap to just get the momentum back in that game. I was really hoping we'd see that.
We had that Liam O'Brien kind of running around all night, and, you know, when it's a close game or whatnot, sometimes you pick your spots, but I just felt like as the game went on, he was just like the bully in the schoolyard. And I'm like, this guy, like, he's tough, but, like, you can't let that happen.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to respond.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of pushback physically out there. And I didn't think it was there enough last night. Now, hopefully in the future moving forward, and it shouldn't always be the same guys either, because we always talk about, oh, it's the Braden Shen or the Tyler Tucker. You know, it sucks that it falls onto their plate. But I will say this, in Tyler Tucker's case, you want it to fall on your plate.
Right.
This is what differentiates you from anybody else on that blue line right now. This is why you're in the lineup, because Chief wants that pushback. He wants that sandpaper. So it's not all on him, and I'm not singling him out. But in the future, when there's situations like this, you need to identify it and respond and give the coaches what they believe you to be, which is that tough personality back on the blue line.
Maybe even like a Jake Neighbors. He was kind of pushed around a little bit last night. He got cross-checked at one point, led to a power play. Maybe that's a guy that ends up stepping up. But we've seen him fight before. He's been in those scrums.
Yeah, and I don't know if I throw him in the category, like, because he kind of got into it with the O'Brien guy as well.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't want to see him do something. You don't necessarily want to see a young guy step way outside of his weight class.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I've said this so many times to so many players over so many years. It doesn't always have to be the response against that player.
Right. And Mark Stone made that clear.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And you can go and, you know, kind of muck it up with somebody who's a little more talented, trying to send a message too. So I thought there could have been some pushback.
The Blues will host the Penguins tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, puck will drop against the Penguins. Penguins right now 2-2 on the year. The Blues, you know, they need a huge bounce back following last night's loss to the Coyotes. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We got What's Trending next.
Nice, congrats. Hey, Marsh, you're just projecting ahead for a little bit for 5 o'clock. I'm trying to catch up on podcasts and stuff, so we have trending. Are we open at 15, and then we have biggest question at 30 and
Pick'em challenge.
Oh yeah, pick 'em. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So we'll have that 9-second intro and then
Yeah.
you know the drill. And then we'll do our sleeper team.
Yeah.
So you can come in with a different bed for that, and then transition that into biggest question today. Kind of how we did the beat the street. How we had 2 different ones.
All right, so let's see. Let's say 5:35ish. We're coming back then. Do you want you don't have a separate production piece for that, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Gotcha. So we're going to come back with that, and then you're going to make it fairly obvious in some way for me to flip it to question.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anthony will be like, and now it's time for our biggest question of the
All
day.
right, I understand. Cool. Okay.
Thank
that
you.
sounds good. Yep, you're welcome. A little over a minute.
Awesome. And I'm sending you our 3 right now.
Thank you. Here we go. Coming back.
Inaugural Blues Warriors Awards Gala at River City Casinos and Hotel on 101 ESPN. What's going on in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered with what's trending now.
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a Lion's Choice sandwich coupon.
You're up.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, I'm Andrew Marsh, and it is time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, we have not talked about this yet, but I wanted to bring it up today. It's been news for a few days now, but the NFL not only allowing but encouraging active players to participate in flag football at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. I mean, no country stands a chance.
Okay, well,
I wouldn't think so.
Hang on. We don't know that to be true. Okay, there's probably some really from now till then there might be some players that
some countries are going to start working on this.
It's going to become like funded nationally by some
yeah.
So obviously the dream team demolished people way back when.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this works. My biggest thing is not even the competition. Because I think truly when you look at it on the surface, it's probably Canada is the biggest competition.
Mm-hmm. I would say Australia too with rugby.
But they got to learn the rules.
That's
right?
true.
I mean that physicality gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Flag,
yeah. So I think Canada would be the biggest.
Yeah.
Competition, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
How do you let this happen if you're the NFL? Because these guys are going to empty the tank. All it takes is one strong cut, and poof, there goes an ACL. There goes Achilles. What are we doing here? Those contracts, can you imagine? Micah Parsons is the one. I sent you that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about putting together a super team. Okay?
It's awesome.
But it's awesome. It'd be fun. But if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm like, what the hell are you thinking?
You're playing for your country.
I don't care. How much are they
Whoa,
paying?
Jamie, when it comes to hockey and Olympic hockey, you're playing for your country, right?
I know, but this seems way worse. I don't know why.
I think it would be hypocritical, though, for the NFL to go over to Europe and play all these games to expand the NFL and then not participate in the Olympics.
Absolutely.
I know, but I'm just thinking of and this also is a huge problem when the NHL goes to the Olympics. Those guys have to get insurance. Like the IIHF and all has to provide insurance to cover some of the contracts. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah, sure.
So I just don't know. Like your star player is going to play flag football.
I see what's going on here. Do you? Do you see what's going on here?
A little bit. Can you
Look,
enlighten me?
do I want Canada to win?
There
yes.
it is.
There it
Okay.
is. There it is.
Thank you. I was about to say, where is Jamie from?
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, bleeds blue and all that crap. Where is he from?
He's from
our
friends up north.
He's from America's Hat.
That's funny. But no, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
if
you're
you're an
right.
owner of a team right now and you've got $130 million guaranteed to a player,
Yeah, it could
you
be
want him
rough.
going and playing flag football?
Nonetheless, one, I hope they consider me as a coach,
Coach
now that
Oop-de-oop?
they've seen some of my my offenses in action the last two weeks over at Lindbergh. Two, can you imagine Tyreek Hill
No.
in flag football?
No, you just put Joe Burrow and Tyreek Hill. Just some guy who's an ultimate passer, and you just drop him in with Tyreek Hill and just say, hey, by the way, just go.
Yeah, Tyreek on one side, like Jamar Chase on the other, maybe
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
What about like Travis Kelce?
Yeah, are you
He's
kidding
a
me?
mutant. Imagine some guy from Sweden trying to defend him. Think about that.
You got some of the best players in the
your
world. They
assignment-
can't get these guys.
Your assignment is Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
The guy's like 5'8". He's like, really? Okay, this should be fun.
Have you seen the dimensions though of the field?
They're
Like,
shorter,
it
right?
looks weird.
They're shorter,
yeah.
and the field is skinnier, correct?
Yeah, it's super small, and plus, obviously, it's not 11 on 11. I think it's 7 on 7.
Yeah.
So it is a little different, but I mean,
Still.
you're playing against NFL players.
Just throw one out to Tyreek. Let him do
Well,
it.
Imagine even guys like, let's say, Bijan Robinson playing.
Oh man.
And you like, how are you supposed to grab the damn flag? You can't even get a hand on this guy to tackle him.
Right.
Who the hell's going to grab the flag?
No kidding.
I mean,
Yeah.
jeez.
I don't know, man.
I want to see it.
I mean, I'm here for it. I'll watch
you
it for
are.
sure.
Oh, it'll be great.
I just want to see some of these other countries, like what they do.
Do you though?
Yeah, I just want to see how they.
What country do you think would be the funniest to watch?
I mean, there's a ton you can think of.
How do I put this? Which country is like primarily white?
Like snow and ice?
No, like
Yeah,
Caucasian.
I think it's better if you say snow and ice, for that matter.
Like a bunch of white dudes.
Like England,
I want to see England.
Scotland. That's a Scotland. Don't you go grabbing my flag there, laddie.
I can't imagine there's a lot of speed on Team
Yeah.
Team England. I could be wrong.
I'm thinking of countries that are like even Russia.
Well, Russia's going to put together
That's the problem.
their own
is they're
team.
gonna
Like
they're gonna go just create people in a lab.
In a lab.
somewhere. It'd be like 14 guys that are
Yes.
locked in a basement somewhere
Oh,
doing
yeah.
nothing but flag football training.
exactly. Yeah.
Ivan Dragos just walking through the door.
Yes. Dodie, you get me, right? You get where I'm going with this.
I can't. I tried to help you.
No, I don't need help.
No, I know.
Sticking with football,
We're slow.
Don't put me in that category.
I'm slow.
I'm a Native American. Leave me out of this.
Western Kentucky.
Christian McCaffrey on the team. He's the running
Oh
back.
my Lord.
They could put together so many different teams.
USA put together 2 teams and send them.
Oh, yeah.
3 and just take all the medals.
They'd play each other.
All right, Western Kentucky.
Hilltoppers.
Yes.
Sorry.
I was like, what?
I'm like, who they playing?
Marshy
Or-
just
yeah, the
seized up
Hilltoppers. My
there.
bad.
So
yep, that was on my.
I believe this is this upcoming week. They're going to debut special helmets that are designed for each position group, and it has the big red mascot on it, and each logo is essentially like a depiction of that position. So the quarterback will have this little big red guy. He looks like Grimace.
Yeah, I was about to
from
say,
the McDonald's.
doesn't he look like a red grimace?
He does look like Red Grimace. But anyway,
Maybe it's his relative.
Creative.
it could be his brother. Anyways,
Grimace is banned now.
Exactly. Yeah, Tom.
You know why, Anthony?
Why?
Google it.
Okay. But can you imagine like the meeting for Western Kentucky, and this guy's like, I got a drawing here. It's like, Tom, is that Grimace? He's my favorite.
If you drew that, I'd wonder what it was.
Go ahead,
Grimace has a very specific look to him.
He looks just like Grimace, but he's red.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he's big red.
He's big red, and each of these little big reds all have different things going on. So you have, of course, the wide receivers are catching a football. My favorite is the defensive, like the corners and the safeties. It's just big red going like this. Safe. Like, hey, I just held on to the wide receiver and got away with away with a flag, and the ball was overthrown by 20 yards. But I'm gonna incomplete, baby.
Quick question for you guys, and I've wondered this before, but I've never really said it out loud. Why in football do they have the numbers on the front and on the back? Like, wouldn't it be a lot more sick if these teams could put the logo, like you think of St. Louis Blues jersey.
Yeah.
Got the logo on the front, the numbers on the side, the numbers on the back. Like the Patriots, how sick would that be to have the big Patriot on the front of the jersey? And like, why does football not, why have they never tiptoed into that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I was going to say because of the broadcast, but obviously that's not it. Hockey, you have just the back, so, and broadcasters have done quite well with that.
Very well.
Honestly, for broadcasting purposes, the numbers, in my opinion, are not as important as the names on the back. When I don't know if obviously NHL teams have the names on the back, but like if you're doing like a high school football game, and there are no names on the back, you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And in college, there's double numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
But why not put a logo on the front of these things? Like, I feel like it's a massive marketing miss. Like the Thursday night football games, right? They always have a unique uniform.
Yeah.
Why not, like, next year the NFL should have something like design your thing. The numbers have to be either on the sleeve and on the back.
Right.
But you can put a sick logo on the front of your jersey.
Jamie, I am shocked nobody in the NFL has thought about this just from a profitability
Well, I was going to say, imagine the money you could make.
Yeah.
Another jersey that gets printed up. And every year you could change that jersey so you have a constant stream of revenue.
And you could put almost like an alternate logo.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Did you ever see some of those why?
Imagine the Browns putting a helmet on their
big old helmet. Well, they could do the elf, the brown elf.
Yeah, they could.
Is he brown or is he?
No,
he's
the
orange,
Browns
isn't he?
elf.
Yeah.
Is what I meant to say.
He is orange. Isn't that weird though? The Browns.
The
Browns are orange.
Yeah. That's correct.
It makes no sense.
I had nothing about them.
Listen, we got into this a couple weeks ago. Remember, I was like, why are they called the Browns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. But whatever.
And wear orange helmets.
Mm-hmm. With no logo.
With no logo. But why is it, like if you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or all that, you always, you notice some of they're like, hey, logo design. Like I saw one with the Patriots today if you're flipping through
they got the,
here's the look. And whoever it is that does these.
I know what you're talking about.
It's always better. It's always
Absolutely.
like significantly better. The one that I saw with the Patriots today, the graphic designer put the, like, I don't know what the maybe you would know, like
Gillette,
Gillette tower. Mm-hmm. Put it in the middle of the
Patriot,
the Patriot logo, snapping the ball, and then the I think she had the state on like his face. It looked awesome. Why do they come up? Why is Instagram coming up with better logo designs?
I don't know.
Some of these NFL teams.
So, anyways, that was my biggest question. Why do you not have at least one jersey that has a logo?
It's a good question, Jamie. We're going to dive into this at some point.
All right.
Somebody should. All right, our NFL Week 7 Pick'em Challenge. We got our picks for you. We're already down 1-0 because of my stupid rear end taking the Saints last night. But we got our picks for you. Biggest, our upset, biggest blowout. Game that's given us all sorts of issues. That's next on 101 ESPN.
that? Is that after this break?
Not, hold on, let me do the math here. It is technically, this is the first break of the hour, so not next break, but the third one, so not the final one, but number 3.
Okay, so after the biggest question of the day.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it. Coming back, guys.
Stay live from River City Casino and Hotel for the inaugural Blues Warriors Awards Gala on 101 ESPN. Get ready to pick 'em. It's the Fast Lane Football Pick 'em Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Well, you sure know how to pick 'em.
You're up.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, time for the NFL Pick'em, where we tell you who we're on in the NFL Pick'em Challenge. Fortunately, I was on the Saints last night. That's garbage team.
I can't believe he did that, really. I mean, why would you even do that?
I was being aggressive.
Who even endorsed that?
Nobody. I went rogue. I went rogue on that.
Jamie may have pointed you in that direction.
No,
I said don't do it.
Marshy was so mad at us.
Who brought it up? He was.
You go, what do you think? I literally turned around. I was like, do what you want.
I turned around in the thing, and I said, guys, follow me on this. And I did. I said, talk me out of this. I go, everybody and their brothers on the Jaguars. Everybody and their brothers on the Jaguars. This is when you go Saints. And Jamie looks at me and goes, do it. And Marsh goes, wait. Just hold on. This is a layup. The Jaguars are going to win. I go, I know, Marsh. But this is where you take the Saints. And he was so disgusted. He just turned around.
He's still disgusted with us.
He's turned around in his chair, and he's like, do what you want. And I did. And we lost. Sorry, boys. All right, your blowout special this week. The team that's going to win by 2+ touchdowns.
Oh, boy. All right, blowout special for me this week.
Marsh, who's yours?
My computer's frozen.
Oh, man, good question, Anthony.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I got the Seahawks. I got the Seahawks over the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a team last week in the Cardinals, so I've been kind of watching them a little bit more, and it's like, okay, this Cardinals team, they've been competing hard and all that, and then the Rams opened up poorly against them, and then after a while it's like, oh, that's right, the Cardinals don't have much talent. And that's how it's going to be this week. I think the Seahawks, coming off that lousy performance last week against Cincinnati, this is going to be a drubbing. This is a game where Seattle kind of takes out its aggression. So I got the Seahawks over the Cardinals.
Hey, Marshy's throwing things around here. He's passionate.
Just making me upset.
So this one hurts me in my heart, but I've got the Bills over the Patriots.
It's probably a good one.
It pains me to say that, Anthony.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath.
That team's not throttle.
Throttle the Ravens.
I like where your head's at.
Bad weather. Bad weather affecting some of these games, including that one. 20-mile-per-hour winds.
So I think the Bills are going to blow out the Patriots.
Did I talk you out of that?
Maybe.
Okay. Bad weather in that one, too. 14 mile per hour.
So I think the Washington Commanders are going to blow out the Giants.
Stick with your original take.
Yeah,
there.
no,
I
don't really like how the Ravens have been playing lately. I know they won last week, but they're very suspect. I'm not sold on them yet.
Right.
I'm not sold on them yet. The Lions have done, virtually nothing to make me feel concerned. I guess maybe the Seahawks lost, but they've been rolling lately. So this will, in my opinion, since the Chiefs game, this will be their biggest test.
Oh, I completely agree with that, especially when you look at some of their opponents. All right, your upset special this weekend. The only qualification, the only one, is that the team that you pick has got to be an underdog.
What's the line on the Bucks Falcons?
The Bucks are laying 2.5. And you're not going to take the Falcons. You know who you could take is the Lions. They're +3.
What? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, then that's a no-brainer. There he is. Hear me roar, baby.
Lions
Dan
over
Campbell.
Ravens for Jamie.
Yeah.
What's the line in that Dolphins-Eagles game?
The Dolphins are catching 2.5 points, so they are a 2.5-point underdog.
Really?
That's a good one too, Marshall.
I think I'm going to go with that one. I have them beating the Eagles. Another team that really hasn't impressed me as of late. Will they have a bounce-back game after losing against the Jets? We shall see. They are dealing with injuries on their offensive line. So we'll see how it goes. I also want to see how this Miami team does in a hostile environment, such as Philadelphia. And those Philly fans.
What makes you think Philly will be hostile?
Well,
they've been real nice to their players.
They've got a track record, and that's not just in football. That includes all sports. I want to see how they do. I think this will be a good test for them. But I have the Dolphins beating the Eagles this week on Sunday Night Football.
Mine is what I would call the principal play. The Commanders shouldn't be favored against anybody. Not even the Giants. So I'm going to take the Giants over the Commanders.
Remember what happened last time you thought the Giants would win?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Was that the Seahawks game?
Yeah.
That was
that worked out well.
That was Daniel Jones, though. This is Tyrod
No, that was
Taylor.
the offensive line.
Yeah.
He had none.
No.
The Giants thought they were playing flag football.
Saquon's back. Tyrod Taylor's. The Giants are going to beat the Commanders on Sunday. That's my upset play.
Okay.
Game that's giving you nightmares.
Well, the Dolphins-Eagles. I sat there for I don't even know how long.
25 minutes.
Yeah, Dolphins, Eagles, Dolphins.
The
Eagles have not played as good as they can, but will they against the Dolphins? And the Dolphins have been blowing the doors off everybody, but will they do that in Philly against I can convince myself either way in this game. I have the Dolphins in this game, but between now and 11:59 on Sunday,
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who really knows?
Who really knows?
Marsh, mine is the Raiders and Bears.
That's a good one.
You got the It's the toilet bowl.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's the backup quarterback bowl.
Who is it? Bagent? Or Bagent?
Nobody knows.
Player name?
No. Where did he go? I take pride in knowing where all the quarterbacks went. I have no idea where he played.
So I don't believe he even played D1 football.
Yeah, I'm probably going with the Raiders.
I don't even know if he played football in college. I think he.
Of course he did.
Community school.
I honestly,
think
he
just
played
not
D2 or D3.
All right. Well, the Raiders and Bears. I'm on the Raiders, I think, right now, but I could talk myself into the Bears depending on.
No, you couldn't.
I'd probably go with the Raiders.
You could not talk yourself into the Bears. If you don't know who the hell the quarterback is, there's no way Anthony Stalter's talking himself into the Bears.
He's a D2 undrafted first-time starter.
Where'd he go?
Anthony, come on now.
I'm curious.
You can only do one question at a time.
My bad.
I'll get that answer for you.
Okay. What's your play? I'll look it up, Marsh. What's your play?
It's the Steelers and the Rams. I have no idea who's going to win that football game. Doty thinks it's going to be the Rams. I'm very torn because I picked the Steelers in my fantasy football league as my defense because of TJ Watt and what that defense can do. Doty and I were talking before the show. I think that's going to be a low-scoring game, and it needs to be if the Steelers are going to win that game because their offense is awful. Terrible.
In what ways? Scoring.
Anthony, if I had
first downs,
if I could trademark a
third
saying,
downs.
All of it.
I know "Be patient" is already taken, but
Yeah.
for Steeler fans, I put it on a yellow T-shirt. It would say 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8.
Well played.
You know how you be you turn into a great third down team. You know how you do that?
You convert on 1st and 2nd down.
You're a better first and second down team. That's exactly
Absolutely.
right. Yeah, and the Steelers are terrible in that. Shepherd, by the way. Shepherd is the college.
Shepherd.
Yeah, the Tyson.
Old Shep.
Where is that at?
Nobody knows.
What's
Shepherd doesn't know
what are
it
they?
is. The Shepherd. Shepherds.
The Shepherd
Yeah,
herd.
the Shepherd pies.
Shepherd pies.
I have no idea.
What do you think that logo looks like?
Oh,
Imagine putting that
I got
logo
some
on
ideas.
Don't. Why would you ask Jamie that? Why would you ask Jamie? Shepherd
I
University.
could be a graphic designer.
Public
Very
liberal
graphic.
arts college offering a wide spectrum of academic programs to students in West Virginia.
That's not a real college. There's no way.
It's
Bishop Sycamore.
How is he in the
It's
NFL?
Bishop Sycamore. They're the Rams, by the way.
Oh, of course they are.
The Shepherd Rams.
How is he in the NFL? And I'm not saying that as a mean thing.
What if he's really good? What if he comes out and just shoves?
That's what I'm saying. He's going to come
What if
out
he's
firing.
Kurt Warner.
He could be.
He could be.
Yep.
I'm intrigued now.
You're leaning.
No, I'm not.
All right. So what? Rams Steelers. Are
Rams
yours?
Steelers is mine.
All right. We'll fly through our picks here if we haven't given some of these out. So Bears Raiders. I'm on the Raiders for now.
Yeah, same.
I'm on the Raiders. Yeah.
One of the plays I love is the Browns.
Yeah.
I love the Browns over the Colts.
Absolutely.
Gardner Minshew did not play well last week, and this Cleveland defense is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to be a long day for Gardner, so I'm going to take the Browns.
Yep.
Bills, Patriots, Bills.
Yep.
I'll say Bills.
Bills.
I got the Giants upsetting the Commanders.
Commanders for me.
I got the Commanders.
Falcons, Bucks. This is a layup. I got the Bucks.
Yeah, shaky
Absolute
bakey.
layup.
All day, every day.
Wow. I have the Falcons.
You do?
Yeah.
Change it.
Yeah.
Change it?
Change
Remember
it.
we told you we were going to help you?
Change it.
Do you remember that?
I don't think Desmond Ridder has won a road game yet.
That is fair. He's actually pretty good in Atlanta.
I think
he's undefeated
until last week.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
But where is this game?
This is
It's
in Tampa.
And I don't care who the Falcons have at quarterback. They rarely win in Tampa. So I got the Bucks there. Lions, Ravens.
Hear me roar, baby.
Lions.
So I brought up the weather. 20-mile-per-hour winds. If the Lions can't run the ball, I think they're in trouble. I actually have the Ravens in this one. I got the Ravens in an upset that's not an upset because they're favored. It's one of those deals.
It's interesting.
Steelers, Rams.
I got the Rams.
I'm on the Rams, too.
I have the Rams as well. I don't want to sit there and watch this. Doty asked me this earlier in the week, and I said, I kind of lean Steelers, but the Steelers can't move the ball.
No.
And their secondary is not good. So I think the Rams can really take advantage of Pittsburgh's weakness. Seahawks, I'll have the Seahawks over the Cardinals?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, another toilet bowl game. Packers, Broncos. I got the Packers just because I can't back the Broncos.
I got the Packers, too. There's rumor of Russell Wilson being benched.
Oh, wow.
But he's got great numbers.
We were talking about that on one of the morning shows today on ESPN.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing those memes or those graphics where it's like, here's Russell Wilson. He's terrible. Here's Patrick Mahomes. He's great. Same stats. Okay. What does Patrick Mahomes do for his offense and his team, and what does Russell Wilson do for his?
Hell yeah.
One wins games. One wins games for the other team.
Listen, he's hot garbage. I got the Packers in this one.
I got the Chiefs over the Chargers.
Yep.
I got the Eagles over the Dolphins.
No. I've got the Dolphins in this one.
I think we're putting the cart before the horse. I still got the Eagles being better.
How about this Monday Night Football game, fellas?
I've got the Niners over the Vikings.
I don't.
I am monitoring.
I think all those injuries for the 49ers games in Minnesota, I've got the Niners. I wanted to see Marshy.
I thought this was going to be one of those his upset special. I got the Vikings. And you look, and he took the 49ers.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
That's your upset special.
Yeah, sometimes I change my mind, Anthony.
Do you even want to know who I'm going with?
Yeah.
If you say the Vikings, you might get fired.
Maybe he's maybe he's got a hunch.
No, he doesn't.
Well, the last time the 49ers were in Minnesota, it was
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins' first game, I believe. As a Viking, Vikings won that game.
Okay.
I'm going with the 49ers.
There it is.
There it is.
It's a
Thank
Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So Marsh got on the board in our Build Your Sleeper team. Jamie won the first week. I won the second week. Marsh won the third week. Jamie.
Last week was quite a performance.
Jamie forgot we were doing this last week. I saw him. He had the paper out this time. He's prepared this time.
Kind of.
Ish. So we'll build our sleeper teams next on 101 ESPN.
No biggest question of the day.
Okay, so you're just going to extend this.
Yeah, because we're running out of time here. We still got Fader follow.
Yeah.
And I got to text the.
You have a returner?
Yes.
Okay. No worries. Yep, whenever you're able to establish contact and you find it, just let me know. Sounds good.
All right. Here, actually, I'm going to send you the number right now. It's in the Dan.
Okay.
If you want to text me.
Yeah. Text received.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. And just to let you know already, because I understand we'll have Betfair in the next segment, you will have, is 15 seconds okay? Next
Yeah,
break?
yeah.
Excuse me? Okay.
FanDuel next break, guys. Bet 5 gets you.
Yeah. And then also, hard out, please. Make it as close as you can to 55, please.
Okay. Might be able to get you out a little earlier, too.
Okay. Whatever you're able to pull off, it's all good.
I mean, he's ranked 23 fantasy. I mean, let's put it this way. Geno Smith is ranked 23 in fantasy. Russell Wilson is ranked 11. I think so.
To update. Update in 30.
What's up, man? Andrew, nice to meet you.
Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Having already won 2 straight, Houston's trying to make it 3 in a row over the Rangers in the ALCS. Third baseman Alex Bregman yanked a first-inning solo shot off ex-Cardinal Jordan Montgomery to stake the Stros to a 1-0 advantage. They've reached the bottom of the 5th. Sudden turn of events, though. Nathaniel Lowe hits a bomb to even the score. It's now 1-1. Both starters, including Justin Verlander, remain in the contest. Tonight, the Phils and Diamondbacks square off in the National League Championship Series right here on 101 ESPN following the Fast Lane and our instant replay presentation. Anthony and Jamie back in a moment. Earlier, the duo visited with Tkachuk, who is a member of the Blues Hall of Fame class of 2024. Number 7 expressed his gratitude for all things Gateway City.
Anytime you get inducted into a Hall of Fame like the St. Louis Blues, simple things really are. Just so very fortunate that I was able to get traded here and to see what it's like to live in such a great place and to play with such great fans.
That full interview can be found now on 101sports.com. This Sports Center update was driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplix.com. Are you kidding me? Guys, coming back. You're live.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to build our sleeper teams for this upcoming NFL week. So we all pick a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver. Marsh tallies up the fantasy points when it's all said and done and assigns a winner. As I said before, Jamie won the first week, I won the second week, and Marsh just got on the board with a win in the third week. So, Marsh, who is your quarterback this week?
I know you expressed last segment that you didn't love the Packers and Broncos game. I think everyone would agree with that. But I think Jordan Love has a good week. Did I just take your player?
You did. You jerk. That's okay.
I'm going Jordan Love. Sorry, Jamie.
Some things hurt. That didn't really. It's fine.
You need a second?
Well, yeah,
Jamie.
now I do. I've got a pivot. You think I have 5 guys written down, Anthony? You know I didn't.
Yeah. I know. I always feel bad for Jamie in this spot, but he'll win this week.
No, I won't.
I've got Geno Smith again. I took him last week, and if
he's not a sleeper anymore, Anthony.
He is ranked 23rd in quarterbacks for fantasy football.
Terrible in fantasy. He's got the Cardinals though. Arizona, they love to hemorrhage points and yardage. I think this could be a big week for Seattle. I mentioned before they're my blowout special over the Cardinals, and I think Geno gets at least 2 touchdowns if he's not vultured by his own running back and Kenneth Walker. But I've got Geno Smith, second straight week. Hopefully, Arizona's defense is a lot worse in the red zone than Cincinnati was last week. Jamie, did we give you enough time?
Where is my guy Shaky Bakey?
He would be a sleeper.
Okay, I'm going back with Shaky Bakey.
Okay,
I think he's got.
He won you the 1 week, didn't he?
No, Joe Burrow, I think.
No,
it
was
was
Shaky.
Bakey.
Yeah, it was week 1.
I was looking at. I was going to contemplate Gardner Minshew, but then I realized that the Browns have a pretty ferocious defense there. And then I thought about Desmond Ridder, and then I sobered up quickly.
Well, you do have that Buffalo Trace right there.
I do.
Unopened, though.
Unopened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jamie, so Marsh doesn't steal your guy. Who is your running back?
My running back, A.J. Dillon. And so my thought process when I had Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon because I think the Broncos are hot garbage.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
I figured that those guys would be able to put some points on the board. So I've got A.J. Dillon as my running back.
I like that. I have Kareem Hunt. He saw some big-time action last week against San Francisco. He's a little banged up right now, but hopefully he'll play. He's still sharing carries and all that with Jerome Ford, but I think that given the weather – actually, that one's in the Dome. This is just a great matchup against the Colts. So I think the Browns will continue to run the ball, especially with Deshaun Watson's health status still up in the air. So I got Kareem Hunt.
I'm going to go with Jalen Warren. The past 2 weeks, he has
I like that.
He has picked up 11.5 points and 10.9. I think he has a nice floor. So I'm going to go with Jalen Warren against the Rams.
By the way, Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel both missed practice today.
Oh, I love that.
Little
Love
update
that
there
for me.
Marsh, your wide receiver.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is questionable right now for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
The rookie. Okay.
That's my pick.
I'm going to go with Josh Palmer of the Chargers.
Really?
The last couple of weeks.
Against that Chiefs defense?
Yes. Over the last couple of weeks, Palmer has double-digit fantasy points, 10, 10.7, and 14.6. I looked back throughout his history, too. He's got 3 touchdowns in his last 3 games against the Chiefs. So just one of those.
It's automatic then, Anthony, right?
No, it's not automatic.
I mean, it's easy money for you.
Hey, Jamie, I'm just throwing out some nuggets for you.
This guy.
Jeez. Who's yours?
All right, so based on the fact that the Falcons are playing the Buccaneers and they're going to be down by a touchdown or 2.
Easy.
Maybe 3. Either way.
Easy.
They're going to, as much as I don't like Desmond Ridder as a quarterback, they're going to have to air it out. And so my wide receiver is Drake London.
Nice. Okay. I think he's had like 10 to 12 targets per game the last couple of weeks. So.
Yeah. If we get a couple of those, a couple of touchdowns, some good yak.
Yak. Why run the ball when you've got Bijan Robinson? Why run the ball when you've got Desmond Ridder?
Well, when you're behind by scores, Anthony, what happens if you run the ball, you're actually cannibalizing the clock on yourself.
I love your pick. What I'm saying is this is a shot. This is a shot at Arthur Smith.
He looks lost, by the way.
He looks complete. Jamie, you're absolutely.
Every time
I don't know if it's the mustache or what, but he looks absolutely lost out there.
Every time they pan to the sidelines, it looks like it's like he was blindfolded.
Yeah.
And they ripped the blindfold off and said, "Here's the play." And he's like, "Yeah."
He's trying to get his He's trying to get accumulate. Like, where am I? Where are we? Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. One segment left from River City Casino and Hotel ahead of tonight's Blues Gala. We're right across from the event center here. So, if you're walking around, you want to say hello, great. If you want to videotape us, you can do that too. Let's do our Fade or Follow and what you missed next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, NFL football, always a lot of fun to watch the games. We just broke down some of our picks and some of our things that we like. Some of the sleeper guys. One thing that's not a sleeper is FanDuel. They're America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed if you place a $5 bet. So you sign up, you place your $5 bet, and you get $200 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed whether you win.
And you can attack this great slate. Maybe you're looking at the Dolphins and Eagles Sunday night matchup, or you're a Chiefs fan and you feel great about your team against the Chargers. It's up to you how you want to play FanDuel, but they got all the spreads, they got player props, same game, parlays, over-unders, much more. All you have to do to take advantage of the promo that Jamie just read off to you, visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast, and then you can start playing, and you get those $200 in bonus bets guaranteed with any $5 bet. Again, $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, courtesy of FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
21 and over, present offers, online domain, offer cost start,
To do a little math here, guys, I'm going to call our contestant. It's going to be a very short last segment.
Sounds good. We're getting out at 55, by the way. So if we want to get out a little early, I think we'd rather get out early than later.
Yeah, I can adjust. Don't worry about that.
Awesome. Let's do Mizzou and South Carolina. These are... Yeah, let's do it. We're bringing back Dan. He pushed last week, yeah. he won't mind if you speak in his ear.
Do you want me to try to still shoot for 55 or like a minute earlier?
Why don't you do like a 54-50, just in case?
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, just give us the 1 minute, 30 second, and count us down.
Okay.
Did you get Dan?
I did, yeah.
Perfect.
Yep, he's ready. So yeah, I'll do a minute, 30, and then count him down from 10.
Awesome.
Okay. Nicely done, guys. You have a nice weekend, okay?
All right, appreciate it, Bradford.
You got it.
You too. Yeah.
Gala at River City Casinos and Hotel on 101 ESPN. It's time for FanDuel Fade or Follow on the Fast Lane.
Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Everyone follow us.
I'll fade.
Money, 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 money.
Take it.
That's right. Time for Fade or Follow. Our guy Dan is back. Dan did not win $50 of FanDuel's money last week, but he also didn't lose. It was a push because we had Washington -3 in Washington. Won by exactly a field goal. It was the last-second field goal. And Dan, first and foremost, welcome back. Thanks for playing again with us. And second of all, a push must have felt like a win with the way that Washington started to fall behind last week.
Yeah, it was a back-and-forth game. I thought, they got up early, and then Oregon came back late, and I was kind of nervous there at the end.
Yeah, I was too. I was nervous for you. This week, hopefully it will not be a nervous situation. We're going to take Mizzou. Mizzou is playing South Carolina. We had talked about the matchup earlier today. South Carolina defensively, they give up. They get torched in the secondary. The number's 7.5, so there's not going to be a push. You're either going to win or lose this week. But with the way Mizzou is throwing the ball around the yard right now, with the way that South Carolina cannot protect Spencer Rattler, we think it's going to be a blowout tomorrow in Columbia, where our very own Andrew Marsh will be in attendance. Woo! So would you like to fade us or follow us? Mizzou -7.5.
Ooh, Mizzou, I think Mizzou has it in them. I'm going to follow you guys.
Okay. All right. You're following us
now
again.
I'm nervous.
No, don't be.
I am. I don't know why.
That's all right. We got this.
All right.
I got this.
Marsh is going to be there rooting them on, cheering them on to victory. So
if they do not win, or if they actually, if they don't cover, because listen, good teams win, great teams cover.
That's true.
If they don't cover, you just pin it on Marsh. Okay, Dan?
That's right. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right,
That's a good idea.
Hey, have a great weekend. Good luck.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right, that's Dan and Fade or Follow. If you missed anything from today's broadcast, we had a lot of fun at River City Casino and Hotel ahead of the St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey Gala event that Jamie is getting ready to host tonight. People are coming in, and they're all dressed up and ready to have a great time. If you miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Thank you to Dodie Rallman for getting us hooked up and providing the engineer service out here at River City Casino and Hotel. Thank you to Bradford Bruns back in the studio, doing a fantastic job keeping us on the air, and we certainly appreciate each and every one of you listening. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a fun event if you are coming down here to River City Casino. But first, Marsh, do we have any criticism?
From the 636, Marsh, if they lose, blame Jackson. He'll be there too.
Oh, that's a good
call. It's a way better idea.
Yeah, it's a way better idea.
And I'm not advocating for that. This is from the text line.
Sure.
But if it happens, text line is gospel.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it's fair. Yeah.
So, Keith Tkachuk was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. Big Walt, we had him on the show today. From the 573, that yellow TPS response needs to be inducted with him. Some solid stories, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he had the worst curve ever in the history of hockey.
Really?
Oh, yeah, like such a toe hooked on his stick. It was just awful. I don't even know how he played using that thing.
Last one here from Thanks, Dad. What's the game? Pinball? My brain went dead there. We just wasted the good brain on the Buke's dad joke.
Yeah. If you missed that one, boy, oh boy. don't bother going back.
Oh, I thought the joke was solid.
No.
I didn't appreciate my mind shutting off on the word pinball, though.
Well, we didn't know what happened there. It's like the hamster fell out of the wheel and froze.
Yeah, fell out of the wheel, laid on the ground for
Yeah.
a while.
It's like one of those fainting goats.
Totally.
That's kind of what it was. Like you got
Yeah.
scared and you just.
Exactly. All right, that'll do for us here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. For Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Everybody have a great weekend. See you.
Everyone here knows.